students, welcome to Women of FHSS. I am Lindsay Blau and I work at the Liberal Arts Career and Academic Advising Office. Today, joining us, we are so excited to have former BYU alumni, Tanan Yesunmunkh, with us. Thank you so much for being here, Tanan.
Of course, happy to be here with you.
So maybe we could get started by you telling us a little bit about yourself and where you are currently.
Okay, perfect. So again, my name is Tanan Yesunmunkh. I was actually born in Mongolia, and I immigrated to the United States when I was 6 years old. My mother immigrated before me when I was 2, actually, right after she graduated medical school. And she came, didn't know any English, had $200 with her in a red suitcase that I still have today. And she immigrated to Arlington, Virginia. It's just right outside of Washington, D.C. And she, like I said, she graduated medical school, but her first job in the States was washing dishes in a restaurant. So it's crazy to me the grit and tenacity that she has, and I feel like I have some of that as well. And 4 years later, I immigrated right after 9/11, so a crazy time to come to America. But I grew up in Arlington, such a beautiful area. It's a very liberal, liberal city, but growing up LDS in a very conservative church. So it's a beautiful mix of things, and the culture and diversity there is just incredibly beautiful. I didn't know any English as well growing up, so I kind of learned through Disney Channel subtitles and reading books. So that's kind of how I learned English. And middle school, then high school, I finally fell in love with like rowing and orchestra. I did a ton of activities. I attended BYU and graduated in 2017 and kind of fell in love with sales, and currently with Qualtrics. They just went public as a company last week, so big things happening with them. So really excited to be with the Qualtrics team currently as an account executive, which is a fancy word for like a sales rep within a tech organization. So that's currently where I am at in life.
That is so great. Thank you so much for sharing. We actually interviewed another one of your teammates, so perhaps
really?
you know each
That's
other.
awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to touch base on that. But
Perfect.
so, what drew you to sales? One of the things that I've noticed is, did you know that this is where you would end up when you graduated from BYU? Did you know this is
No,
a
not at all.
possibility?
I actually switched my major 3 times, started out with nursing, going into pre-management, into the business program, and realizing I would be stuck in school for a while. So I switched to sociology because it's the shortest major out there. And I was like, this is fascinating. I love it. I can graduate really fast. And I actually graduated when I was 21, so I was pretty young getting out of college. But even before then, I thought I was a really shy person. And my mom gave me a really great piece of advice. And she was like, why are you categorizing yourself as a shy person? Like, stop putting yourself in a box like that. You're just only telling yourself shy, therefore you are shy. She's like, go talk to people, say hi, ask what their name is. And I was like, that sounds really hard. But I ended up doing 3 summers in door-to-door sales in college and paying my way throughout college, not being in debt, which was really important to me. And I realized throughout college doing a ton of internships, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't really like anything else, and I'm really good at sales. So out of college, I was with General Mills for 3.5 years as a sales rep and switched to Qualtrics recently. So yeah, I didn't really know until I tried a bunch of stuff and realized, hey, sales is the one thing for me that I really like doing.
That is so remarkable. I find that a lot of people think that when they graduate in the liberal arts, which is what we support, that there's this kind of clear line and clear understanding of the talent that you're bringing with you as a result of your curriculum. And what you're telling me is that I brought a bunch of things with me. I tried a bunch of things on, and this kind of happened for you as a result of those things. So I guess my question is, what are the things that you wished you would have known as an undergrad, kind of moving into this new kind of sales path that you've taken?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think the biggest thing for me is there's so many resources at BYU within the church, outside the church. as well as just the resources within the college in general. And then plus, like, one of my capstones was actually in the business school. So really you can venture outside of the college. And so I took like this sales management class as my capstone because I didn't really like any of the sociology capstones that was available. So the resources that are at your fingertips is amazing. And the people there that are willing to be your mentors, you just have to seek it out and just ask tons of questions. Be like, hey, are you familiar with this? Or ask alumni groups like me and us that are willing to help and answer questions. But again, there's so many resources, and I wish I took more of those resources on and got outside of my own head and was just a little shy or too scared to try any of those things.
Well, and so it sounds to me like when you decided, I mean, your mom sounds like a very wise person. When you decided to pursue what she was talking about, getting outside of yourself, not categorizing yourself as a shy person, were there other things that helped you as a college student that helped open up, some of these future opportunities besides maybe, it sounds like you did a lot of networking, a lot of mentorship. So anything else?
Yeah, there is a really specific thing I would love to talk about. It's called the on-campus internships. It's through the Marriott School, and really anyone outside the Marriott School can do them. And I did 3 internships, and it was for free, obviously, just to get experience and something on your resume. And I did a strategy internship thinking I liked strategy, was interested. I did a marketing one thinking I was interested, not. I did an HR one, not. I wasn't interested at all. I was like, I don't want to look at dashboards all day. No, this is not for me. And so it was really good because I didn't waste my time after college in like years of a job that I didn't like. So I did those, temporary 4-month or even less internships, worked on a great company in the Utah area, got some great experience, put something on my resume, and noticed, hey, I actually don't really like this. And so on-campus internships was great. The Ballard Center also has like NGOs that you can work with. So there's so many things, even what's outside our own college, that are accessible to us, like I said in the previous answer. But that was really a good thing that I did. And it also allowed me to network with people within the business program. And one of the reasons why I ended up getting the Qualtrics job was because of people I knew in college, and that was in the business program. That even though I wasn't in the business program, I was friends with them, and then reconnected after college and started talking and things like that. So the connections that you will make throughout college will really bless you afterwards. And in the moment, I was never thinking, oh, I'm gonna, be talking with you post college, so I got to be really nice to you. No, you make friends and you network and you add people on LinkedIn and connect through, different websites and stuff like that. But I really do believe that things come back around. So yeah, so connecting with people in college is really important as well.
You're like the poster child for my job. Seriously.
I love that.
That's so great. That is so great. I'm so glad to hear that networking was something that was really valuable, because I think that it's really easy to do, right? It's not like you're going out of your way to make friends. I mean, maybe for some people that could be really hard to do because of, social anxiety or whatever. But I think for the most part, it's easy to start a conversation with the person sitting next to you. And that's great,
Totally.
but that's what it ended up being for you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So can you share with our group some of the reasons why you pursued a career and the benefits that that career brings to you?
Yes, sales is awesome. I am very money driven, and it's great in that way as well. A lot of companies, we're known as like the Silicon Slopes in the area. There's a lot of tech companies. How tech companies work within sales is you have like a base pay plus your commission. And within Qualtrics, the commissions are just incredible. So a lot of people end up just doubling and making extremely amazing amounts of money. And most companies outside of sales is like you're on an hourly thing or a salary, and it's kind of capped. You may have some small bonuses at the end. One of the reasons why I love sales is because the commission is usually unlimited. Like the harder you work, the higher your commission is. With door-to-door sales and things like real estate, car sales, that's a little bit different because it's 100% commission. So if you don't, sell that day, you don't get paid. But with Qualtrics and a lot of tech companies, you do have a base pay just to have some type of security and some type of stability in your life, with also a lot of great benefits. So I would say there's two types of sales. You have your commissions 100%, and then you have like your base pay and with commission on top. So that's the type of sales that I love.
That's so great. And did you know that that's what it was? I mean, so you started at General Mills and then you moved over into Qualtrics and IT, which is a whole other ballgame. Did
Yeah.
you know that this is what you enjoyed doing? I mean, and what were the steps that it took for you to maybe understand that a little bit more?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think with people, they think, okay, I need to pray on this and then let me get a piece of revelation, then let me act on it. But most of the things that ever done, I think 9 out of 10 times were because I acted on it out of planning and making sure I talked to the right people. I acted on it, and then Heavenly Father was like, that was a good decision. Or if it wasn't a good decision, he'll be like, maybe the other choice was a good decision. So I think there's too many people during college is like, I'm going to pray about what my major is going to be and then just wait and sit. Like, you can't receive revelation when you're just not doing anything. You got to be actively doing something or actively being patient in some type of way. So for me, I really had to plan, write the pros and cons, talk to the right people, have mentors in my life that I seeked out, whether it was within the church or outside of the church, and just acted and moved forward. I think that was really important. But there's too many people that sit, and it doesn't work out very well. You end up just sitting for too long and you miss
Right,
opportunities.
right. And we hear that all the time, right? That acting in faith, the active part of the faith is really where the revelation happens. So I'm really glad that
Yeah.
you said something like that. So looking back, kind of talking about the benefits that you've received, what other benefits have you received personally or professionally or otherwise from your working experiences?
Ooh, yes. I did 3 summers in door-to-door sales, and it is probably one of the hardest jobs out there. It is very physically demanding. The hours are like 12, 13-hour days. You're working 6 days out of the week. It's 4 months out of the 12 months, which is great. So it's short, but you're packing in all the months of working into 4. So it makes sense why you would be working crazy amounts of days outside in the heat and the rain, all these things. But outside of the physical aspect, the emotional acuity I learned and like the EQ part of it was, I can't tell you how much that has blessed me in my life today. And as well as just the mental toughness and able to receive rejection and not taking it to heart. Because in the beginning, I was like, oh, they actually said no to me. It's like, no, they just said no to the service or the product that you're selling. And so having that almost like that wall and making sure that that no doesn't even hit you emotionally. And as women, we are a little bit more sensitive in our feelings. And I think that's a great thing because we can actually understand people really well. And we have a sense of, um, like just a sense of empathy that men they don't naturally have that as much as women do. And so I think it's a great skill to have, but I really honed in on the skill of taking rejection and not taking to heart and being able to move on to the next door like nothing ever happened. Having that clean slate attitude has been huge because in General Mills, I was never on an emotional roller coaster with work. I was really like stable and consistent with my work because no matter how many no's I got, it was totally fine. And door-to-door sales is called business to consumer sales, so B2C. Qualtrics, General Mills, all of these, we're B2B companies, so we're selling to other businesses. So the amount of no's I get is rare now because I'm not speaking to 50 people a day. So it's not as, the spectrum just has changed as far as rejection, but learning the mental toughness and increasing my EQ was huge. I'm a lot more constant and consistent in my life. Rarely would I have days like up and down emotionally and mentally, and I attribute that to sales, especially door-to-door sales.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. One of the things that we talk about with our students all the time in advising is this idea of developing competencies. Like the reason why people are hired is, yes, your curriculum and your degree matter, but what you're learning from those experiences and the experiential learning, like door-to-door sales, is you're learning how to be a team player. You're learning how to problem solve. You're learning emotional intelligence. And that is one of the competencies that they talk about a lot, is emotional intelligence, which it sounds to me like that is what you gain in your door-to-door sales. So I think that that's really incredible, that that's a huge takeaway that you had and that you're able to apply it right now. And even apply it in your personal life, whether or not it's, doing something, negotiating with people at a marketplace or whatever it is, right? So I think that's so great.
I just wanted to add to your comment, especially with school, we're just so competitive with one another, especially when I was interested in the nursing school and the business school. Once you get into BYU, you're getting to your specific college, then applying again. And in the strategy program, you actually have to apply again to the strategy program. So you're competing against smart people who have high GPAs, and you kind of get lost in that sense where you're like, I'm smart, like I'm not feeling seen and heard, even though I would be incredible in this major. And so that was a really tough part. But the EQ is more of a standout post-college. It doesn't matter what your GPA was. I don't even know mine actually. I just guess when I'm like putting it online, but like I have no idea. They don't talk to you about your major. They maybe care that you graduated in something, but that's really it. So when people during college were like, oh, what are you going to do with sociology, and kind of look down on me and with that question, or like any other major in our college, I'm like, that was kind of rude. And secondly, like, I'm going to be doing great things with it. And in the moment, I was like, yeah, I'm actually in sales. And they're like kind of shocked with that. So I don't really like that perception that with liberal arts, it's like, what are you going to do with the liberal arts degree type of thing? You can do anything that you want. You can go to med school. You can go to law school. You can literally do any other post-education degree that you want. You can be a salesperson in a big tech company or be a stay-at-home mom. You can take any of the lessons you've learned and apply it postgraduate. But anyways, that was just a thought I had.
Wow, I appreciate that. Again, this goes back to your original comment of this isn't linear. What you're doing is you're learning all of these things that you get to apply to really whatever you want, which I also think sounds really overwhelming when you're trying to decide what you want to do. But at the same time, it's kind of that idea of line upon line, precept upon precept, right? The things that you've already talked about. So
yeah, I agree.
Well, as we wrap up, I was wondering, is there anything else that you feel would empower our women students to pursue whatever they choose post-graduation, whether it's fulfilling grad school opportunities, stay-at-home opportunities, part-time, full-time employment? Do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Yes, I think we need to empower women more to have that stance where we can really do anything that we want. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom and also work full-time and make it happen, by all means, For me, I'm not at that stage in life, so I don't really know exactly how to do that. But I really think it's unlimited. Your potential is limitless. So you can really do what you put your heart to. And there's so many great resources. And if I'm allowed to, I can put my LinkedIn name if people want to reach out to me and like add me on LinkedIn. And, if they're interested in sales and especially in tech, I'm a good resource to have. But I really think we need more women specifically in sales and business. Qualtrics is doing incredible work with increasing their women and specifically minorities as well. And we just have seen like we bring a different perspective that other people can't bring into with different cultures and different mindsets and environments and backgrounds that we have. We can really bring so much good into an organization, and we have to remember that about ourselves. We have to remember our value. We have to remember the capabilities that we have genetically, as far as like our God-given talents and the ones that we've worked on. We have to remember our value at the end of the day, that we can do anything. So that is my final words.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I appreciate that you are this voice for a lot of people that the effort that you put in your degree and in trying to figure this out has led you to an opportunity that sounds pretty amazing, and it's allowing you to grow.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you.